All right, hello everyone. This is Teams 4's presentation. If you didn't know already, that is David Sharoma. I am Cyrus. Ethan is over there, and this is Jason Bone. So you're gonna see this sort of funny looking word called view, or you can call it VU, whatever you want. Basically, it is the name of our project. It stands for Visualizing User Engagement. And there's three main components to it. One is tracking user analytics. The second one is to visualize said analytics. And don't worry, you'll see all these great details soon. The third one is to offer awards to incentivize workflows. So there's new workflows in WSM, and our app assigns awards to try and incentivize users to go towards those workflows. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the tech stack. We use something called the MERN stack, so you may have heard of it. The M stands for MongoDB, E stands for Express, R stands for React, and N stands for Node. So front end was in React, and we also use D3 to visualize the data into like bar charts, donut charts, line charts. Back end, Node, Express, Mongo. Testing, we use Jest and Enzyme, and we use the Google Analytics API for user data.
So there were two main problems we tried to solve with our application. So the first problem was we had underutilized Google Analytics data. So a few months ago, we implemented Google Analytics tracking within Website Manager. However, the Google Data Studios, which is kind of provided, you can make your own custom dashboards, is really hard to use. Like sometimes it's really slow to load, and then the data is often associated with your user ID rather than your first and last name to keep it more private. So we wanted to have a way of seeing this data at a more individual level, so being able to customize it based on like their user ID and be able to have a very granular look. And then the second problem we had to solve was that people are just kind of unaware of new workflows for WSM. So whether they're very stuck in kind of their ways, they're comfortable making cards from scratch, like we don't want them to do that. So we're using our awards to help incentivize workflows. So if there's template cards, using these new templates. If we have other new features, trying to get people to use these other features we have. So in building our solution, we had three main attributes we wanted to keep in mind. So the first is we wanted a variety of graphical representations. So with the statistics we're getting back from Google Analytics, we want to not just use line graphs, we want to try using donut charts, so like pie charts. In addition to bar charts and line charts. And then, although our first focus was on trying to look through all these Google Analytics data, we really shifted our focus away from the statistics themselves and moving more towards gamifying the data with awards you would receive for when you say made like 10 new templates, or if you're uploading X many number of images. And then the last part is we wanted a customizable dashboard. So when the user first logs into our application, we want them to see a list of any recent awards they've earned, and then a list of maybe 3 or 4 different statistics that they can choose from to see what's important to them.
Now, you might be wondering how we built such an app, and that's why I'll be talking about the different technologies that we leverage. All of our front-end components are built using React, and most of our components are from CDK's own Radial library.
Wow.
Wow.
And after much deliberation, we decided to choose MongoDB as our database, as we felt that a non-relational database was a better fit for our data storage needs. And Mongoose really helped us define schema for our database entries and also to make queries on that database. Node was our out-of-browser runtime environment, and the Express framework helped simplify the code writing process for things such as making HTTP requests and creating endpoints. We use Bamboo to deploy our application, and the Context API, which is built into React, to solve our prop drilling issue, which is basically when we were passing data down through a component tree when it's only really needed in a couple of places in that tree. And we used Okta for single sign-on authentication, which made it a huge part of our login We also use D3 React components to visualize our data from Google Analytics API, and we use Jest and Enzyme to test via snapshot testing and just our overall component testing. Here's a diagram that shows our project's architecture, and it includes the 4 main pillars of our application, namely the website itself, Express, Google Analytics, and MongoDB. I think it is worth mentioning how important Express was for our application, as any data transferred basically went through Express to get to our website so that it could be visualized. And some of the difficulties that we faced while making this application, Bamboo gave us some grief. It wasn't super intuitive, but we ended up figuring it out. Testing React components was difficult and something that none of us had done before. So testing React components as well as testing our different endpoints and our database served to be challenging, but good learning experiences. And working with Okta was also frustrating at times, but in the end it was a great addition for our app.
Okay, so I'll be talking a little bit about the design and showing off the demo in a second here. So we started with a wireframe. We started completely from the ground. We had no base to go off of, so we made a wireframe here with radial standards with the help of our whole team and Amy. So for our dashboard, this is where landing page you are. You always go here when you log in. So we wanted a snapshot of the most important things you want to see. So we'll have our customizable stat cards, so you'll be able to choose whatever stat you want up there, whichever is most important to you, have it displayed on this dashboard, as well as your most recent achieved awards would appear on the top bar as well. Moving on to our stats page. So this is where you go to see all of the stats you have. You would get a better, more detailed explanation of what the stat is, as well as a more detailed representation of the number. And our awards page. This kind of became the main focus of our project as we advanced. So on this page, we'll have different types of awards, such as lifetime or monthly. You'd be able to click on these cards here, and they would expand, telling you more about how to earn the said award. So lifetime, for example, you could have a lifetime stat for logging in so many times. Log in 1,000 times, and you'd be a WSM expert. So these awards, through product meetings, we've honed into, we want to use these as almost teaching tools, teach people about new features coming to WSM, teach them more effective workflows, how to use WSM. And I will now show off. Takes a second to load all this data. So upon your first login, you've already earned your first award. So here in this little modal, we talk about our app a little bit, we tell you what it's for, and we give you this first gold star. So here on the dashboard, we've just chosen some, these aren't particularly special, these are just random stats we decided to show off here. And we have different cards, and we have a bar chart here for a different data representation. We also allow you to customize your different icon. We decided to name this one after our mentor, Kenji. Moving into the stats page, we see our famous donut chart. We really love this one, so it's probably our favorite. And we'll be further dividing up our stats into different categories. We currently don't have them working right now, though. And moving into the awards page. So the current data we're using is from a super user, and they have achieved quite a lot of awards. We can see here in the, for example, the cameraman, they've uploaded over 500 images, and this is just over a 2-week period we're gathering this data. So this person, they know their WSM. And unfortunately, this is a future goal we have, is we want to implement a ranking board where you'd be able to see within the company, per se, see who's achieving the most, who's earning the most awards, and with that, you'd be able to drive team competitions.
All right, so sort of a reflection on what we've done. We all worked in like a full stack environment, so the front end and back end with the database. We experienced testing frameworks like Jest, which caused much pain, but we got through it. And like it's been mentioned, agile methodologies, Jira, Bamboo, and Confluence were other tools and technologies we used. He is not here today, but that is David Davila. He was a really great mentor, so shout out to David. He's not here, unfortunately, but he's here in spirit. So what are the next steps for Vue? Leaderboard for award competitions, okay. So basically, like Jason mentioned, we want to have a leaderboard so that you can try and challenge people, trash talk if you want, probably don't, but yeah, basically like a competitive aspect to it. Then leverage GDS data into Vue and integrate Vue into WSM. So those are sort of future goals that can be reached with this application. And thank you to all of our mentors and managers, so David, Adrian, Kenji, Kimberly, Sean, and Softer for helping us out throughout the internship and putting up with us miraculously. Thank you.
Any questions?
I might have missed it. What exactly is WSM?
WSM is just the way like external users, so dealerships will create their websites, or they can like hire like internal like CDK employees to help build their websites.
Does it like stand for website manager?
It does.
Oh,
Yes.
that's what we wanted to know. Okay.
So it's kind of like WordPress, but it's all built in-house. It's better than WordPress.